Hey y'all, welcome to Real Relatives, the podcast where three siblings dive into the world of TV and film. From binge-worthy series to blockbuster movies, we're your go-to podcast for lively discussions, fun debates, and plenty of sibling banter. So get comfortable, grab your remote, and let's get into it. I'm Tosin, lover of boba, space heater enthusiast, and Dunder Mifflin Employee of the Year.
And I am Penny Carmichael, Queen of the Zillennials, Empress of Sass, and Head House Hunter.
And I am Gene Rogers, tired but happy, father of two and husband of one, corrector of grammar and resident nerd.
And we are the Real Relatives.
Let's talk about what we're talking about today. And what we are talking about today in the binge segment of our show is Three Body Problem episodes 5 through 8. So last episode, we covered the first half of Three Body Problem. This episode, we'll be doing the last half. And then when we get into the banter segment, we will, in honor of Three Body Problem, be going into an alien invasion draft. So we'll explain it a little bit more when we hit that segment, but we're going to be drafting alien invasion movies and shows. Spoiler warning. For Three Body Problem, we will be talking about the back half of the show, and then obviously the front half of the show might also come up, and probably you already listened to that episode, so spoiler for the entire series. But before we get into binging, let's do our quote of the day segment. I am responsible for today's quote. And today's quote is, let me find it. Oh wait, do we have 15 seconds on the clock?
No.
All right.
Oh, yes. Producer E is tracking that.
Wow, you guys think he's a bum. Producer E's on top of it. All right, so today's quote is, "I'll be right here."
Ugh, that's
a lame quote.
In any movie, anybody has said
anything. I have my guess.
Be right here.
Okay, I have a guess. I don't think it's right, but I have one.
All right, well, that seems like 15 seconds, so let's start with Tosin. Go ahead.
Bluey. I know you're a big fan.
Hey, Bluey. Hey,
no shade. I've heard great things about it.
Blue gang. All right, and Penny, let's hear your guess.
I don't know, Tarzan?
Also something I'm a big fan of. I appreciate you guys. Sometimes you don't play the game, you play the man. And you guys did that. Okay. Both wrong, but two good guesses. No, this week's quote comes from E.T.
I was going to guess E.T., but
I have never seen E.T., really, I'm sorry.
Dang, I haven't seen it, but literally, like, E.T. was my first guess, but then, I don't know, I didn't think he would link it because we were talking about alien stuff. No, I like you.
My OCD brain works. I couldn't help myself. I had to pick an alien movie. E.T. is probably the ultimate alien movie. And so, yeah.
Ugh, always trust your instincts, ladies.
E.T. All right.
Never seen it, I'm sorry.
Neither have I.
So,
sad to say.
You should definitely fill that gap in your movie knowledge.
Yeah,
you can't be a real movie fan without watching E.T.
I've seen like bits. Actually, I don't know. Anyway, it doesn't matter.
The TikTok generation is crazy.
I'm not into TikTok.
So, like I said, today talking Three Body Problem. Let's jump into the binge. So maybe let's just start. Oh, you know what? The way we're going to start is I'm responsible for giving our summary of the back half of the season, and I'm just going to summarize each episode. So in episode 5, Wade and Raj plan an operation to intercept the ship Judgment Day, which is where Mike Evans and his followers are living. Mike Evans is on the ship talking to the Santee. They recruit Auggie, who uses gives them like nanofiber technology to shred the boat apart, killing everybody on the ship. And then they recover a hard drive that has a bunch of the conversations between Mike Evans and the Santee on the hard drive, and they decode it and find out that the Santee have sent 2 living supercomputers to spy on humanity and weaken us by crippling our science. So that's episode 5, and then in episode 6, boom, now the general population is learning about the Santee and that they're on their way. It's going to take 400 years, but for some reason people are panicking today. People will commit suicide. Some people are forming religious sects. Obviously, Wade, who's leading the government, decides to fight back, assembles a team of scientists to figure out how to launch a probe into space to meet the alien fleet. He recruits Jin, who helps come up with the method of launching it. Raj is part of the assembly team. I think Auggie is also a part of it, and they all have kind of conversations around whether they should or should not be helping Wade build this probe. Moving on to episode 7, we discover 2 things. 1, Wade plans on freezing his body so that he can remain alive until the Santi arrive on Earth, only unfreezing himself periodically so that he can help lead the plan. And then 2, instead of sending a person to space, they are sending a brain to space, and that brain is going to be Will's. So they end up talking to Will, and Will decides that he is okay with them taking his brain out of his body, putting it on a probe, and sending it into space. Meanwhile, Wenjie, I guess, was trying to communicate with the Santi. She feels abandoned by them, and so she ends up trying to commit suicide until, boom, the creepiest person of all time, Tatiana, comes out of nowhere and decides that she's going to kill her instead. And then in the season finale, we learn that Saul, who's had really nothing to do the entire season, has been appointed as a wall facer. He's one of 3 wall facers whose whole job is to come up with a way to defeat the Santi, but entirely in their mind. So he unsuccessfully tries to back out of becoming a wall facer, but then he gets shot and realizes that the Santi don't believe, because it's all, maybe it's just deception, that he can't back out of being a wall facer, so he's stuck. And then the series ends with them launching the probe into space. Will is on his way to meet the Santi. The launch fails. They sent the brain into space for nothing. And everyone feels guilty. And then Wade's plane is infiltrated by the Santi, just so they can show that, look, it doesn't matter what you're doing, we're 10 steps ahead of you, and boom, that's the end of the season.
And to let him know that he has a job in the future.
Yeah. Sorry, they do try to recruit him as well.
We will be hiring you.
And so I think a good place to start is just going back all the way back to kind of the beginning of this back half of the show. One thing I found really interesting was, all of a sudden people were finding out that the Santi were on their way, and everyone kind of had different reactions, both the people, just kind of the general population, but also our characters. So maybe let's talk about, how did each of these characters respond, and what did you find interesting? Tosin, let's start with you.
Yeah, so for the characters, I mean, I feel like I can talk about Auggie first. She had a very interesting reaction. Penny, I just want to say that I understand your Auggie hate now. Yeah. Because you were hating on her. Because you were hating on her in the last episode, and I think I saw it more in the back half of the season.
Well, now our opinions have flip-flopped, because I actually was understanding where she's coming from more now. But elaborate.
I just feel like she got very judgy. Her reaction was very judgmental of the others, and I just wasn't really fooling with that, because I feel like people were doing what they felt like they needed to do. Whether I agreed with it or not, I kind of understood where they were coming from. For Jen, with her reaction, I don't know. She's just trying to figure something out. More so, I'm going to focus on Will and Saul. They finally had a purpose, because I didn't really understand why they were on the show.
I was watching. I said, okay, so.
I call him Eeyore. He was just such an Eeyore. He was just moping around.
He was dying.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, but you get the sense.
Fast, quickly. He was deteriorating quickly.
You kind of get the sense, though, that he had been moping his entire life.
Thank you. He spent his whole life moping. His sister came when he woke up from whatever, and was just rude. Nah, they were rude. They were trifling. No.
When the family showed up,
I wouldn't have given them anything.
They didn't even know that he had been rich, right? Because I think at that point he had
the mom. Oh, whatever the mom.
No, he inherited money from the mom. Apparently.
Yeah, but they didn't realize he had 20 mil.
But he'd already spent that.
He had. But
so they didn't know, because they would have been even more irate. But basically, they showed up talking about, hey, we know we haven't really ever been super close, and we haven't really treated you well, but we're the only family you have.
Literally. Verbatim. But I can appreciate that they didn't come in with the fakeness. They were like, yo, we were trash, but also give us the money, you're about to die. I wouldn't have given it to them, but I can respect it.
No, because like for me, okay, yes, y'all are my family, but what about the family that I found along the way? You know what I mean? Because I'm not giving money to y'all. Like I have friends.
Just have some.
There are people in my life. In fact, I felt better about throwing my money literally into the atmosphere.
Space.
I threw my money into the atmosphere to burn.
No,
I'd rather buy a star than help you people.
And why did it become so expensive to buy a star? I'm sorry, isn't it not
because all the billionaires they're trying to get one. So but that will make the drive for the price in the market.
But that much? I was confused.
She's an economist.
That's right.
No, but I'm confused because
capitalism, baby.
Okay, it just didn't make sense because doesn't it cost like I don't know?
It's
like
a fundraiser. Does it cost $20,000 a plate to sit at a table? No, but that's what
fundraiser for the space exploration. Honestly, that part confused me because I was like, what? The space exploration?
Yeah. I mean, they needed funding for the science, right?
Stars?
Yeah.
Okay.
So they were selling stars, I guess.
Okay, y'all know I don't believe in.
But aside from star real estate, going back to Will, for Will, he just, I don't know, he finally had a purpose, and I feel like the moment where I actually felt like, oh my gosh, this is so sad, was when his brain was just, we realized it was just going to be floating in space for an indefinite amount of time. Like up until then, I was just kind of like, okay, great, he's going to sacrifice himself. He's finally having a purpose on this show, because he was a quitter. He had all these opportunities and just like squandered them. So he kind of bothered me in that sense.
But was he a quitter or was he content?
He's a quitter. He was content at the end when he was like, okay, well, I'm gonna die, so let me just like live my life the rest of my days out the way that I want to. I can respect that, especially when you're sick and it's that far along. But before that, when you heard his sister talking, when the way he like handled the whole Jin experience and stuff, I was just like, and he's so smart. Like he just like squandered what he had, in my opinion, by being super complacent.
I want to be careful about calling it squandering, only because he became a teacher. But
that's not what he wanted to do. He became a teacher because he got scared. It's not like he was like, oh, I have a passion for teaching. If that were the case, great. Like go out there and do that. And I'm not saying you always are gonna like hit your passions. I don't necessarily think that is how life works. But he didn't try. Like he didn't try enough. I'm like, bro, you have to try, and he just didn't do it.
I was like, I don't feel smart. He was like, I'm where I'm supposed to be. I felt like he truly felt like, like enriching the next generation of young minds was where he was meant to be. And it might not be as flashy as like working at the particle accelerator or, you know what I mean, like having my own startup or whatever, or, selling chips or whatever. But
Jack's next.
but he was happy about like.
No, he wasn't. He wasn't happy. He was okay. He convinced himself he was okay with where he settled. Well, I don't think that he was like, no.
I mean, I can see him being a quitter, like what Tosin's saying, but also I'm like, maybe, but people kept telling him he was a quitter. So I'm like, is it just because, but it's what they all were like, you're just quitting. And I was like, or maybe he was okay with like what he was doing. I don't know. Like, I mean, I can see how you could view that as quitting, or maybe he was content. Like Jean was saying, I don't really know. But what actually high key was the most upsetting about him to me was the fact that he found out he was dying and he wanted to go sit on English beaches, which are notoriously like the most ugly beach. I said, you don't want to go like
$20 million
to like
you could have gone to the Bahamas,
to some tropical country.
That's
even
fair.
if you don't want to go tropical, like just somewhere that's prettier than the gray English shores. I don't know. That was what upset me about him the most. All the rest of it, who cares?
Yeah, even in that, he quit. Because that's just a version of like settling and quitting. He couldn't even settle onto like a nice beach. He settled for an English beach. And then he spent all that money on a star.
Sorry to all my English friends.
We're talking about Will a lot.
The thing is too is like there was also a lot of like, I mean, maybe because he had an unrequited love, right? And maybe that's the part of
here we go.
Violin music.
Okay, maybe that's the part of him that I kind of related to a little bit. Like
How can you relate to that? Because your love was requited. You are married to the person. You won
in the end.
You are not Will.
Backstory time. So, Jean is married to Tosin and I's oldest sister.
Oh yeah.
She wasn't feeling him like that for 7 years, but in
that's
the end,
a long time for it to be unrequited.
Yeah, but you won. You have 2 kids now. Y'all are married and like each other and whatnot.
Yes. And I love all of that. But at the time, I'm saying you never relate to like previous versions of yourself. You can never see a past version of yourself in a character.
not when they're lame or dumb. I try not to see myself in them. I don't know. But sure. I don't know.
Okay. All right. Well, so then it's Will.
Yeah, there's enough about Will.
He's in love with Jin, and he would do anything. He literally decided to send his brain into space for her, not for Earth, not for humanity, not for science, not for curiosity, but because Jin said so.
Question. So was it his brain or his head?
No,
it was his brain or his whole head? I thought it was his whole head, but just his brain.
I think it was just his brain because they were trying to get the weight down. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. That's okay.
Weird.
Science.
Yeah. I just felt the time I felt sorry or really bad for Will is when they realized that his brain was just going to be floating around in space.
I think it's scary.
That's sad.
It's sad to us, but like he said, he was like, how would I know? Like, I'm unalived.
But clearly there are, okay, we're going down the rabbit hole for a little bit, but clearly we've learned from this show that there are other like life forces out there. Yeah. So maybe he's not on track to meet the Santi, but who knows what will intercept him or what can intercept him, and that is not part of the plan.
Hold that thought.
That's why I'm like, poor guy.
Let's talk about some of the other characters though.
Yes.
Let's jump into, because I feel like there was like a nice little triumvirate a little bit with like Auggie, Jin, and Raj, and they each had like different roles, like with the government, trying to figure out like how do we either stop this Santi or build this thing to go onto space, the probe to go out into space. But then they all kind of argued about like obviously Auggie was like, we shouldn't be doing this. At one point Jin was like, oh Raj, like how could you do this thing to the ship? And then but obviously she was a scientist and she was involved with it as well. So you know, what were your thoughts on all that?
Pens, you want to go first?
Yeah, sure. It was just interesting to see like the three different, I guess, I don't know, what's the word? Like different ways people could react to the situation. You know, like Ross was kind of like, well, you know, I'm just gonna kind of do everything like Wade's saying because like, you know, he's obviously trying to like fight back and like we don't want to like be taken over by like the alien. And then Jen was kind of like, yeah, I want to like do something to stop it, but I don't think I should just blindly follow like whatever like Wade is saying or the government is saying, because when have they necessarily steered us right? Like historically they don't have the best track record. I don't know. And then Auggie was kind of like, F that, like no, like what they're doing isn't right, like we need to go about it a different way if we're gonna like solve the problem. So I just thought it was interesting, like kind of bringing those three perspectives in there and seeing like kind of like how they played out. At the end of the day, all three of them still decided that like you did need to fight back, I guess.
Yeah.
Like that there wasn't
in their
like,
own ways.
Yeah, like nothing to do, which I thought was interesting because like I think also seeing like how the rest of the world reacted too. It was like maybe because they were directly involved like in everything that was happening and like they were specifically like called upon by like Wade or whatever. But I guess it would have been interesting to see like if somebody was just kind of like no, which I guess Auggie did anyway. I'm kind of like spiraling a little bit because I'm like, wait, there's just so many things. But yeah, I don't know what I would have done.
I feel like they kind of all had to, like they were all involved because you kind of, what else are you going to do, right? Like when you have a certain skill set, you have a certain like knowledge base, and then there is this like problem, there's kind of a responsibility to your fellow people to put that skill set to use. And like for Raj, it was very simple. I'm a military man. Military men do what? Follow orders. Boom. Here are orders. I'm going to follow them. Jin, for her, it was like, there's this like scientific problem, and that's what I'm built for. I don't even know if it was, maybe part of it was about like the Earth and, you know, like I want to defend us and stuff. But I also just kind of feel like it was like, this is a scientific like quandary and no one's been able to solve it and we need you. And then there's, all right, that's my whole career. I want to do that.
That's why she was playing the game like a fool.
Well,
she loves to solve a scientific problem.
I mean, that's the scientific curiosity in her. And Auggie, I understood the conflict for sure. But I was also like, because Penny, you were like, oh, you know, it was like, oh, well, do I want to do it this way or do I want to have like go about it a different way? But she didn't really ever propose a different way. It was right,
Auggie?
like Auggie was like, no, we shouldn't do this. Oh, it's genocide. No, they're gonna. Okay, well, what should we do?
a lot happening. That's why I feel like I could relate to her. There was a lot happening at once. She didn't even have time to like try to think of an alternative solution. Like she didn't even get a second. You know what I mean?
So, I have my things on Auggie. I can say them.
Go ahead.
I just want to make sure everyone is making their point before I...
Yeah, no. Hop in.
Okay. So let's start with Raj first. Raj did what he had to do. He's a military man, and he did what people in the military do. Like Jean was saying, they follow orders, and that's exactly what Raj did. He's like, I'm going to fight back. I'm going to defend the earth or whatever, and I'm going to do my job. So he was a bit more ruthless and cutthroat about it, but I can't really fault him for just doing what he is trained to do. And this is the nature of his job.
Which part of were you talking about, like for the probe, or are you talking about on the Judgment Day, like the ship?
Both, I guess, but more so Judgment Day for the ship. But for the probe, he didn't really do anything. He was just helping, like, move the process along.
I think he asked if he could do, like, and Wade was like,
yeah, I don't know. He's just doing his job. So I was just kind of like, he's a little cutthroat and ruthless about it. And I can see the controversy around that. But, he's in the military. That's what they do. And then for Jen, I feel like Jean did a good job of summarizing it. She likes to solve problems. And she got in there and was trying to, like, solve the problem. So I'll leave her alone. Now, Auggie is where my focus is on, because I just really couldn't stand the way that she, like, started acting after the announcement that the Santi were coming, and after the nanotech situation.
When you say the nanotech situation, what are you talking about?
On the ship, where they sliced through the people.
You couldn't stand the way that she...
You didn't like the way that she responded to the massacre of children? Or what?
I would have thought that you would...
Take us into... take us into your psychology a little bit.
Okay.
I'm surprised by your response.
No, I really... Like, they knew what they did with that scene when they showed us the babies playing basketball on the ship.
Yeah.
And then started showing the adults getting sliced up, because you knew that's what was happening to the kids. Yeah. And that... I did not like that. Yeah. I mean, yes, I understand, because that was like the point of what they were doing, but I was like, dang, all those poor children who honestly didn't really have a choice. Like, their parents they were born into this, and they didn't know anything different. So my heart went out in that sense, and I could understand the guilt that Auggie was feeling, the fact that it was like eating her alive. That I very much understand. It's her judginess.
Okay.
That is what irritated me, because she was talking to Jen and she's like, you don't know Raj, F that guy. Oh, Will, you should go after Jen, this, and that. And I'm just like, look, Raj is not reacting the way that you are. He's clearly not racked with the guilt, and he was just like, you know what, I did what I had to do. Don't necessarily agree with that either. But Auggie, you gave them the technology. Mm-hmm. You sliced through those people just as much as Raj did. And because you feel guilty, or you're showing it more, you're putting yourself above Raj. They're on the same level to me. But that's one person is just reacting to it very differently. But I'm like, you're no different.
Though, right? Like when you feel shame, like it's sometimes just like, all right, I want everyone else to be down here with me.
But I'm like, you deal with your shame.
Yeah.
You handle that. You decided to go along with the way. You decided to chop up those people. You decided to chop those children. By the way, because there's nothing that said you had to like do it.
When y'all were watching it, by the way, did y'all wonder like why is this better than like all the other ideas for how they were going to board the ship? Because like, oh, we can't send a team, we can't like send a missile because that could destroy too much stuff. So we'll just like Julian the whole ship into little cubes. I said, but what if y'all destroy the hard drive this way?
That's what I was thinking too. I was like, how did y'all know this wasn't going to destroy the hard drive? I was very confused about that actually, and just they found it on Mike Evans' chest. That didn't make any sense to me.
Good point that I forgot.
It could have sliced through. Yeah.
Wow. I mean, I know part of it was like they didn't know who was on the ship, which also is something I would say about Auggie. I know I agree with what you're saying maybe also, but also I think they were like, we don't know who exactly. We know Mike Evans is on the ship.
Yeah.
We don't exactly know who else is on the ship. So I think she was like, oh, maybe, it's just like soldiers, like kind of like, I don't know. But she was like, I don't know, but there could be kids on the ship.
Yeah.
Like, So I think everything happened too fast. It was just so fast. Like they were like, one opportunity to do this. I guess they were going through the Panama Canal or whatever. Everything was, I can't.
She just got on her high horse and was like, so, oh my gosh, like Raj is the worst person. I'm like, bro, you built the technology for them to do this, so you need to climb off that horse and deal with your guilt as you should, But the switch up on everyone and the judging and all that stuff, I was just like, you don't really have a place for it because you played a huge part, if not the biggest part, of like carrying this attack out. So relax.
I would have liked to see one of those three characters react differently than expected. Like, I think Raj acted the way we thought he would as a military man. Jin kind of acted the way we thought she would based on, you know, she's a curious scientific mind. And I feel like it kind of like propelled her help with like, you know, the staircase project. And then Auggie also, I feel like she was always kind of more hot-headed and like opinionated, whatever. And I feel like she kind of like reacted like that. I kind of would have liked to see somebody act like outside of their character a little bit.
I didn't really think about that.
I thought it was interesting. Someone drew a parallel. I was listening to another podcast, and they drew a parallel between Auggie and Oppenheimer.
Never watched it.
Well, but just the scientist, like the real person.
But that makes sense.
The idea that you kind of created this incredible thing, and the idea was like it was supposed to be a deterrent to the war. Like, okay, well, if we have the nuclear bomb, then you all wouldn't dare escalating the war beyond this place. But then you find out that you have to use it, and then you have to deal with the fallout of, you know,
have to use it. You chose to use it, but yes.
Well, okay, yes.
Just like Auggie didn't have to use her nanotech, but she chose to.
They probably would have taken it from her and used it anyway.
Okay, but she didn't do it. She didn't press the button.
Okay, well,
tough choices all around.
Yeah. I had a question too about the Santi. Okay, so the Santi abandoned their followers, right? Like they eventually kind of like let all that stuff happen because
you are bugs.
Because Mike Evans revealed the fact that we're liars.
Couldn't explain the concept of a story.
Of a fable.
Right.
A fable. Simple fable.
But okay, so then, but at the time though, I was like, okay. So then they kind of changed modes from we're going to come and coexist with you to we're going to conquer you. But I was like, then I thought back, okay, well, like when Wenjie like got that first message from the Santi, wasn't it like we are conquerors? Like you don't want us to come? So then weren't they always conquering in the first place?
Yeah.
I feel like it was going to be a situation where the Santi, where like humans were second-class citizens, and the Santi were like, okay, we can coexist, but you guys as like lesser beings to us, like in a way. So I feel like it was going to be like that, but now they're going to be like, oh no, we're going to
get rid of you,
conquer, destroy, annihilate. Yeah.
Got it.
Which is what I said in the previous episode when y'all were like, oh, maybe the Santi and people like letting them come. I'm just like, there was never anything that we know of that was established of like, hey, when we come here, we're going to preserve your species.
I never thought they were going to be like
they were coming to like destroy, and Wenjie and Mike Evans are trash for that because they sold out the human race.
I think they transitioned from coming to destroy, because I know they were conquerors, but I thought
rule.
It seemed,
they were going to rule, but they needed subjects
over to rule. These people. Yeah, that's I think they got.
No, they needed,
and that was the agreement, right? Like that was the good.
Yeah,
that was never explicit to me.
That's just what I assumed.
But
that was just like, that doesn't mean anything.
It had to be that because at a certain point, then they abandoned that and they were like, all right, we're just going to come and wipe you off the face of this planet that we need.
Right.
Yeah. So we're going to just exterminate you, right, bugs, and then we'll take the planet, and that's it. And I feel like it shifted when they figured out, like, because they were like, we can't coexist with you all. We don't know.
You don't even want to try, Santi. You don't want to try first.
We can't be dishonest. No. But imagine like someone, you're talking to someone and you are not able to lie, and they are. I can't coexist with you either. I just have to kill you on the spot because, like, for all I know, you're planning on killing me tomorrow. And if I ask you,
would have invited this.
If I ask you,
but also like you shouldn't even be here. Like, go fix your own planet. If you have all this technology and all this great stuff, go ahead, mind your own house. Don't be coming here. If the Santi are out there, please, I don't mean this. I'm just saying this for the show.
The protons are circling as we speak.
She said, I'll happily be part of your flock.
I'm just saying it for the show, okay? Please take no offense.
And then there's Saul. So Saul tried to respond in a characteristic way, right? Like, I don't care. This is 400 years from now. Let's just chill, spark up a blunt, sleep with some women. That's it. But boom, now he's a wall facer. he's getting shot at. He has to respond. So just wondering, how did y'all feel about Saul's response? And then was he the right choice for being a wall facer?
How would I know?
I was about to say, I think that's kind of going to answering the last question first. I think we don't know. Saul doesn't know either.
True.
We don't know if he's the right choice.
True.
But yeah, I don't know. I didn't think too much about Saul. Like I said, I very much had the mentality the entire season of like, why are you here? Why are you here? And so I think I was just excited to finally see him be of use in not just the cause, but the show. Because I was just like, he has to serve more of a purpose in this. So yeah, I don't know. I think he reacted the way we expected Saul to. It's also funny that people are like, oh yeah, you have a choice of being a wall facer, but then it's like, boy, get to work.
Yeah.
Because they were like, so this is what you want us to think, huh? Right?
Yeah, exactly. Right? No, because now the moment they were like, okay, it happened all inside your brain. This guy said, all right, I'm out, right? He said, yeah, you're out, right? All that winking.
They try to murk him.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah. I don't get the whole wall facer thing. Like, and this is why I wouldn't be chosen to be a wall facer, clearly. But like,
that's why.
How are you supposed to...
Yikes.
Shut up.
Yikes.
Shut up. How are you supposed to like defeat these aliens in your mind, but then you're also supposed to be working with like 2 other people in the UN if you can never talk about it? The
no, wait. Who? They're all supposed to be working independently.
Yeah, but so if you're doing it but yeah, this just doesn't make sense to me. They can't write things down on paper. The Santi, you're gonna see it if it's written down on paper.
Are desperate. They have no ideas.
But I feel
the best they can do.
But the Santi's thing is that they can see anything that involves like tech.
Yeah.
Just write it down.
I don't think it's just tech. I think it's anything.
It's right. No, I feel like it's anything that
conversations.
No, they can see anything.
They're
remember?
Spying.
Because when they took you, like when they had you.
But go ahead.
See the probe, and they zoomed around like the globe. That was like us seeing how the probe like moves.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it had to get into like computer systems and all that stuff.
No, it can be anywhere all the time, all at once.
Oh, well, this is off topic, but...
Or not all the time, but technically.
It's crazy because the Santi are worried that the human race can eventually, like, defeat them. How are we supposed to defeat that?
No, but no.
Over time.
Yeah.
No, I know it's an overtime thing, but I'm just like, I'm like, oh, we still swinging. Like, human beings are capable of, like, defeating this level of technology where these little, the siphons can see everything. Like, that's pretty... Let's give ourselves a pat on the back as humankind.
Pat on the back is crazy. Because are we even going to get there, or is our climate going to be destroyed in the next 50 years?
Then the Santi can have it. The Santi are getting on my nerves. Anyway, just entitled.
They are.
Look, man, it was definitely a fun season. And we just got news that it was renewed. They didn't call it season 2. They said renewed for more episodes to finish the story. So whatever that means, Netflix. But what are we anticipating seeing from the next drop of episodes? Penny, what do you think?
What do I intend? I would like them to hopefully get into a little bit about why Saul became a wall facer. I hope that they do, because for some reason I have this feeling that they're not going to like flesh that story out very well. I don't know. I feel like it's something to kind of like...
I think they will, because like Saul had that conversation with Wenjie, right? And she told him that joke.
Yeah, the joke is there's something in the joke. There's a clue in the joke.
And I was like, is that why he's a wall facer? Because she told him the joke, or because like she... Like, they saw her talking to him and figured, oh, he must be that guy. So maybe that's why the Santi think that he's important, and that's why he's a wall facer. But there was something in that interaction. I was like, oh, okay, they're like laying groundwork for like next season, and we're going to understand kind of like what she was saying. Now, the question is, was she betraying the Santi at that time?
I believe she was. I think she lost faith in the Santi, and she went and found Saul and told him that joke as a way to like, here's a key to like destroying this alien race. I think she dropped a clue to Saul because she lost faith after they called her a book.
Interesting. So there's like a deeper kind of theological question there of like, if your God loses faith in you, are you supposed to lose faith in your God? But that's a whole different podcast.
Yeah. Let's not get into all that. But audience, if y'all are listening, please tag us on Instagram and let us know what you think if you have some answers on Jean's question, because that's a pretty deep one.
Okay, so next season you want to see why Saul a wall facer. What else are we looking for? What else do we think?
For me, mine are way more shallow. I want to see what the Santi look like. how ugly are they? Because people keep saying, what do y'all look like? And they're like, you wouldn't like it. And I'm like, what won't we like? Show me. Right. Okay. And then my second thing that I want to see, I just want to see them wreak more havoc. I love the eye in the sky scene. I absolutely love it. It's just blinking back at you, looking all ominous. Am I saying that word right?
Ominous,
whatever.
Yeah, you were the ominous.
It looked like the Illuminati eye. And as someone who's on the cusp of believing in the Illuminati, like, I just thought it was like a really cool thing to see.
We can chat about that one later.
Yeah, I want to see them wreak more havoc, psychological terror, and I just want to see what they look like. That's all I care about in the next season. I don't have super high expectations.
You know what? It's interesting because it's like, why do all this? Because it seems like you could probably just destroy the world already, or at least the human race, and then just inhabit its worlds, like when you get here. So I'm like, oh, why not just do that and then just, have the home ready for you when you arrive?
Yeah. And why reveal your plans?
Yeah.
Like, it was very strange to me.
Understand.
Oh, maybe because they want the humans to basically destroy each other as much as possible. And so that way it's not as hard to take over because they're seeing how, like, humans, can get crazy, very reactive. It's like, okay, let's let them eat each other up. And then it'll be not as hard by the time we get here.
I feel like they can just do that without even having to have.
But they're doing that now. But they are. The eye in the sky. You saw how people started acting.
No. I'm saying I don't think they need to have humans fight each other. I feel like they can just destroy. Because I think they could just do that with.
Because like part of what they said was like just the speed at which your technology is advancing. By the time we get there, y'all are going to be more advanced than us.
Yeah. So y'all have to start.
No, what I'm saying, I feel like, I don't know. I feel like this is a hole. There's always like a hole in sci-fi stuff, in my opinion.
You don't understand.
Not that I'm so smart. I was gonna say, but I feel like the stuff that they're doing, they can make people see things that are not actually there. I feel like they can, and they have something that can literally see everything and basically move around the world in fractions of a second. And I'm like. And it can control, right? You can control things, right? Like on Earth as well.
Control what?
But they can't.
Control technology?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, they can control the technology and stuff, but they can't actually do that much to us themselves from their ships. And that is why they're sending the photons out to like.
Oh, exactly. No, we had two different things, but like they're also sending killers out. They're
they have to have other people and things doing their bidding now.
I feel like
I don't think they're actually capable of doing it. And that's why things are playing out the way they are.
Have so much power.
They're smart.
Like technologically and I just feel like they. Based on the things that they've presented to us in the season so far, I feel like they could conquer the world without actually having to come here and conquer them. Because
I don't think they can, because if they could, then they would have done it.
They said they couldn't, but it doesn't make sense based on the things that they're saying that they can do. Like if you can make people see. If you can make people see what they want, why not just have everybody like kill themselves? Like, you know what I mean? Like I feel like it doesn't.
But they're having people like killing each other. Yeah, like they're doing what the psychological terror that they're causing will cause humans to turn against each other. I feel like that's what they're banking on.
But if you can, so all the scientists that were offing themselves, right?
Yeah.
If you can do that to everyone, basically, why not just have everybody?
I don't think that would work.
They didn't convince them to kill themselves. They gave them reasons to kill themselves, right? And those specific people reacted in that way. Whatever it was, like the science
was off. They're showing them numbers counting down in their head.
The numbers alone, obviously people were.
But not everybody. But think about people like Auggie. She didn't unlife herself. She decided to stop her project. Like, in order for someone to make sure that humans are gonna she
stopped her project.
Send other humans to kill other humans.
She stopped her project because they said if she stopped her project, then she would stop seeing the numbers. But if they had kept making her see other things and there was no solution or potential whatever to help her, then maybe she would have gone crazy cuckoo and killed herself too.
All right,
I just don't think it's that crazy.
I'm also curious about what's going to happen to Will's brain. Tosin, are you right? Is someone going to snatch him up in space and maybe do something,
make him a robot
to his head or whatever? Who knows? But okay, so as we kind of talked about this season, what we expect for next season, let's go into our wild card question for the show. And the wild card question for this show, for this half of the show is, if you were just a member of the public, member of the populace, and boom, on the news, you see that aliens are coming in 400 years to come and invade the Earth. How are you responding? What is your reaction?
I'm going to the store and I'm getting water and toilet paper because I saw how y'all acted. How y'all acted when COVID first broke out. That's what I'm doing. I'm going, getting some toilet paper so I can use the bathroom in peace and drink water. That's it. It's 400 years from now. I'll let the smart people deal with it.
Penny, how you moving?
Do with me.
I think, a lot of the way people reacted in the show is how humans would probably react. And I'm like, doesn't make sense. Why are y'all like looting stores? But I think me, the average person, probably not going to be able to help the situation. If I could do anything to help, I would, just because I'm not going to be around. It's not fair to my descendants or whatever. I don't know. I feel like humans, we don't have a lot of redeeming qualities, but I don't think we should necessarily be like conquered and destroyed. It's not nice. So I don't know.
Great.
Other than that, just business as usual.
Yeah, I mean, what are you gonna? I think it's scary, right? But at the end of the day, like, what do you like?
It's
right now,
years.
Me,
yeah.
The average. What am I gonna do? Like,
I don't know. I don't know.
What are you doing?
Yeah, what's
your grand plan?
It's a good point, but like I think generationally sometimes, right? And like obviously that generation is just like a lot of times just all right, chill out. It's just this is not an alpha male podcast. Chill out. Like it's just like all right, what do I want to give to my kids? But I think about like I want to set them up so they can set up the next generation, and if I feel like a couple generations from now, what we're setting up is to be conquered cattle, then yeah, maybe I don't know. Maybe I quit my job and pursue other dreams, or like I don't know.
4 centuries from now.
But there's still people are gonna. But
4 centuries.
Even if you don't operate business as usual, other people will, right? So you can quit your job, but like what? So then
yeah,
what,
I mean maybe I'm just gonna explore what I want for me.
But okay, I mean the world could end without the Santi like 100 years from now.
Ooh,
so you
that
could,
part.
Maybe you're saying I should quit my job. Let me think about it.
I'm just saying. I don't see how
I really could.
Okay. All right. So, boom. Obviously, interesting show. I think we all enjoyed it, different aspects of it. Let us move on to the Real Relatives patented boba rating system, and let's hear a little bit about how you all would rate the show. Tosin, let's start with you, the boba aficionado.
That is right. Okay. So for me, picture this. You've been craving boba all week. You're like, oh man, I really want like a milk tea. That's what I want. You go into the boba shop, you're getting ready to order your milk tea, and then you see something like a fruit tea, very different, that seems appealing. And it's just like, you know what? I'm curious. I'm feeling risky today. You try it out. It's delicious. That is what I felt about Three Body Problem. What an unexpected treat. Because sci-fi usually not what I, dive into. This is very deep on the sci-fi side. So it's a great, delicious, fruity surprise. And it was heavy boba. But me being me, I might go up and ask for a little bit more because I felt like towards the end it got a little light and was lacking for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Solid. By the way, when you said picture this, you've been craving boba all week. I think you're the only one who can picture that. But
I'm sure people can relate.
Penny, hit us with how would you rate it?
So I have some similar thoughts as Tosin. I think for this series or season, whatever, to me it would be a safe option, leaving you interested, but wanting to go back and try some more and see what this drink is about. So probably, we're giving like a very basic order, something safe for somebody being introduced to like bubble tea. So maybe like a I feel like people dig like peach teas, like a fruit tea.
Wow, that is so wrong. But continue.
Oh, I mean, I'm a milk tea person, but I thought the fruit tea was like a safe option. I don't know. No? Okay. Well,
not peach.
Whatever.
Sorry.
This is what I thought was safe. Anyway, let me tell you what I thought was safe.
I don't know.
You like gross things.
So a peach tea, like regular boba, maybe like 75% sweetness, just, like easy win. And then just like do regular ice, whatever. Just like get the drink experience.
Right.
And then just because I feel like the way the show felt to me was like, okay, this has intrigued me. I want to see something more. I want to see what else is out there, what they can offer, in forthcoming seasons. But I don't know if I'm quite sold on this being like the best drink ever, or like it's like particularly like so amazing. Like I just need more. I need to get, because the ending also was like a little underwhelming to me.
Yeah.
But ready to try more.
All those bugs in the swamp.
I like that though. By the way, the whole bugs thing, like people are trying to destroy bugs and you can't destroy bugs, so call us bugs, we won't be destroyed.
Roach.
I like that analogy. I'm not a roach, but
arrogant humans.
Okay, and then for me, this was very much like it was a Thai tea actually. And Thai tea has a little bit of caffeine in it. It's a little stimulating, and I was stimulated by this show. It kind of kept me I was thinking a lot. It kind of kept me up a little bit. It was pretty sweet because for me it went down really easy. The show was just like, episode. I was able to just knock it back quickly. So that was a high sweetness, and then I just like normal ice, kind of right down the middle in terms of like. A lot of other aspects, like I like sci-fi. That's very much me. Regular boba. This is very much my kind of typical type of thing, but definitely had me thinking a little bit more. So that's how I felt about the show. Okay, so now that it is in the rating books, we will move on from the binge section to the banter section. And for today's banter, we have a fun little activity planned. We are doing our Alien Invasion draft. So to give a little bit of context, obviously this is inspired by the fact that we were doing Three Body Problem, which is an alien invasion show. We will be drafting shows and movies about aliens invading the Earth. So that is the full category. Within that category, you can really pick anything. We will do it snake draft style. So what that basically means is that we will be ordered 1, 2, and 3. So whatever random order, producer E will use the generator and put us in order. The first person will draft. They draft first. The second person then drafts. And then the third person drafts twice. And then it goes back up to the second person. And then up to the first person, and the first person drafts twice. If you all get confused midway through the draft, I will help explain. Do not worry.
Yes,
but
because I'm
the
confused.
draft basically snakes up and down. So we will get started.
Wait, when you say draft, does that just mean like a choice, like one of our options?
So when I say draft, what I mean is that we are going to be drafting from the from the entire pantheon of alien invasion movies and TV shows, but
pantheon.
Once someone takes a show or movie, you are no longer that movie or show is off the board. So very much like a draft in sports, like once a player is drafted by one team, they cannot be drafted by another team. We are going draft style, and we just need producer E to put us in order.
Yes, we have an order. Thank you, producer E. So it looks like Jean will be going first. Penne Pasta will be going second. And I, Tosin, will be going third. 3 is one of my favorite numbers. So Congrats. How exciting.
All right. And I will try to keep us, I'll try to be like the draft master and keep us going.
Master.
We don't want to take up too much time with each choice, so we'll try to get through it like relatively quickly, but we can still have some fun with it as well. For my first overall pick of the draft, I am going with Avengers Endgame. Not traditionally a movie one would think that was about alien invasions, but it is in fact about an alien invading the Earth, and obviously the movie is incredible. Did over $2 billion in box office revenue. So
stats.
That is that's my first pick. Pretty excellent movie, I think. Off to a good start. So, Penny, you are on the clock.
That's my first pick.
Yeah. Instead, why don't you?
It wasn't my first pick, but it was one of my picks.
Why don't you pick instead of ridiculing, instead of being salty? Go ahead.
So my first pick is Infinity War. That movie, I personally think is not.
You're saying it like that.
I know, because she's salty because she wanted Endgame.
No, Endgame wasn't my first pick. Infinity War is my first pick. Honest.
I mean, okay.
And I think Infinity War was low-key better than Endgame. Please don't crucify me.
Yeah.
Wait, which one was first? Which one was second?
Infinity War was first, and then Endgame.
Endgame was second.
I think Endgame and like the end.
It's
thank
crazy
you.
breaking it down. For
Okay,
you like a child.
well,
Thank you.
Okay,
Go ahead.
Anything I say, okay, whatever. I thought Infinity War was better, especially because they didn't win in the end, right? Like the villain won, and honestly, the villain low-key like kind of made sense to me. Like,
Oh my God.
It makes sense to me that the villain made sense to you.
Yeah, like that's another argument for another day because you said this before and it was just a stupid solution.
At some point, we will get onto it. We'll do a Marvel episode and we will discuss.
Yeah.
okay,
Because
I'm not saying he was right, but I'm not saying
that
he
genocide
was
is
wrong.
Correct. All right.
Anyway.
Okay, is it my turn?
Yes. Okay. So that was Penny's first pick, and Tosin, you will get picks 3 and 4.
3 and 4. Okay, cool. So for my first pick, wow, we are not original at all. I have the Avengers, the first Avengers, because that one was actually an alien invasion. I have some qualms with y'all's choices, but it is what it is. So we have Avengers for my first one.
Okay.
I'm not really going to give a spiel about that.
Sure.
For the second one, I'm gonna go with Space Jam.
Dang.
Come on, Jam, and welcome to
Which version?
You are stealing all my picks.
Come on.
Yeah, I'm stealing all my
Michael
picks.
Jordan's version.
Okay, I just had to be
Get out of here with
sure.
that. Oh, are you gonna do? Okay. Anyway, Space Jam is my second one because it's Space Jam. Come on, y'all.
Yeah.
Man.
Solid. Okay.
Wah, wah,
Okay.
wah, wah.
Well, look, Penny, don't be too sad. You get to go next, and whatever the next most important show or movie is to you, you get to draft it. So.
All right.
Let's see what you pick.
My next pick, I guess this is my second pick. Transformers.
Oh, but it's no, don't haha me because it's not highlighted in red.
Gene.
Oh, Gene. Okay,
You're
that's okay.
Toast.
Thanks.
I'm going with the first first Michael Bay.
Yeah.
Original Transformers.
Well, didn't they have the? Anyway, that is
Sorry, movies.
Movies
yeah.
with Shia LaBeouf and Megan Fox.
Yes,
Yeah.
that
Not the 80s
is
show.
my second pick. Phenomenal movie. I watched it so many times when I was a kid.
Loved it.
Nostalgic.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh my gosh.
And that really is an invasion. I understand what you're saying about the event, but
thank you.
that is an invasion.
Okay. I think then for my second pick, I am gonna go with the movie Independence Day.
Oh, I have that on my list too.
Will Smith,
but it's not highlighted in red.
real blockbusters.
It's a popular one.
Yeah, no, it's a fantastic movie as well. And so that is that pick. And then I think for my third pick, I'm gonna get a little unconventional. I'm going Invincible.
No.
Invincible. And I knew I had to take it off the board. I knew I had to take it off the board.
That did not even cross my mind.
My mind.
Is that?
You looked at my list.
Okay, so we're not going to get into like the nuances of this, but I'm now curious as to what constitutes as like an alien invasion because it's one person that was there in Invincible. It wasn't.
But he was there.
But it wasn't like
the way.
When I think invasion, I'm thinking like hordes of aliens. Actually, am I thinking of that? Because some of my list doesn't actually follow that. Never mind. I'm going to shut up.
Alrighty. Moving on. Okay, back to Penny. So Penny, you get to go again. Tell us what's your next pick?
You guys are so annoying. I just want to say, like, my team would suck this season.
We're not done yet.
But you know what? I'll go my third pick. Right? Dang, this is my third pick. Men in Black.
Ooh, that was one of mine. Dang.
Mad,
OG,
bro, I'm mad,
classic,
I'm mad,
good watch.
I'm mad.
Because you had it.
Actually, though.
What?
Or we'll put an asterisk next to it. We might let you draft again at the end because I don't think there's an actual invasion in Men in Black.
They have,
No,
but
but they're
they've
here.
invaded.
They're
They've
amongst
invaded.
us.
They've invaded.
Ooh.
It's not like an
Fair enough.
It's not like an aggressive like invasion or whatever.
Yeah.
They're not
It's Omni-Man.
They didn't conquer, but
Yeah.
they did invade.
Yeah. If Omni-Man counts, then Men in Black definitely counts. I mean Invincible, but y'all
We'll
know
let
what I
it
mean.
slide. We'll let it slide.
Okay.
Referee.
Thanks,
We'll let it slide.
sir.
All right, Tosin, go ahead. You get the next two picks.
How many? Because my list is.
Yeah, you got two picks left, right? That's your.
Oh,
No,
overall?
wait.
Oh, wait.
She's done 4.
No, I've done 2.
Oh yeah, so you
I
get
did Adventures in Space Jam.
you get the next two.
Yeah,
How have you only done 2?
because that's all I've done. Okay, so my next 2, I'm gonna go with Nope.
Okay.
Nope. Okay, and then for my other one, I'm gonna go with Lilo and Stitch.
Okay. It was there. I had
Lilo and
It was on my long list.
Shout out to the internet because I definitely forgot about that movie, and I was like, this is an alien invasion. There's
Facts.
Family means no that's left behind.
Facts.
Stitch was a big misbehavior though.
Okay, solid penny. You got this is what your
this is my fourth pick.
All right, go ahead.
Predator.
Have you even watched Predator?
I did watch Predator. I don't think I saw 100% of the movie, but
like many movies. Have you seen clips?
Okay. That's the point. But I've seen I think it's like good 85% of it, 80% of it. Okay. But anyway, yeah.
Are you drafting 100% of it?
Is that the one with the egg?
The egg.
The things are coming out of the egg. The gross snot looking thing.
You could be talking about so many things.
Yeah, I was like, I'm not sure.
Okay.
All right, so Predator for your fourth pick. I think a lot of good stuff off the board.
I know what your next pick's gonna be.
I am going for my fourth pick. I'm going A Quiet Place.
Oh, never mind.
Haven't seen it.
Never seen it. Yeah,
fantastic movie. I really think the audience is gonna really resonate with that one.
Okay. I'm gonna win. All right.
And for my final pick, I am going Dragon Ball Z.
I have zero context of Dragon Ball
Z. They are aliens. I
got a whole portion of the audience right there. So.
I went on a 2-hour Wikipedia deep dive into Dragon Ball Z randomly one day.
Have you watched a single episode?
No. I said I went. I've never seen it, and I went on a Wikipedia deep dive.
But did you watch episodes?
No, because I did my Wikipedia deep dive. What is it when they go into the dragon state or
Super Saiyan?
Super Saiyan.
That's crazy, the dragon state. All right, so let's just keep it moving. Penny, give us your final pick.
What is my final pick? This is tricky.
Is it going to be for you, or are you just going to take something you think Tosin wants?
I thought I was done.
No, you have one more. You've picked 4, right?
Oh, hell. Okay.
Can you count?
Wait, I'm confused because
we don't understand.
I thought she should have hit 5 by now.
Oh, wait. Let me... Tosin, how many have you drafted?
Hold on.
What are your picks so far?
I said Space Jam.
1.
The Avengers,
2.
the original. Nope. Oh,
3.
and Lilo and Stitch.
4.
Yeah, I have one more.
Wow.
Okay.
Math is hard.
You don't have to be rude.
It's okay. It's okay. Pens.
Pen. Yeah. What was 5th pick?
Skip her.
Okay. I'll say.
Yeah, you are about to forfeit it. Go ahead.
No, I'm not. Is that a thing? Can you do that? Okay.
In drafts. Yeah, you're on the clock. Come on, man.
Okay. Man of Steel.
Man of Steel. Okay.
Man of Steel. Okay.
Decent movie. Yeah.
I'm not going to fight you on it because I don't want you to say mine answer. So. Yes, right. Man of Steel. Woo!
And okay, final pick of the draft. Tosin.
E.T. I've never seen it, but
do they
in there?
That's
don't care.
It's not an invasion. That's not an invasion movie.
Didn't he just fall down to earth? I actually haven't seen it. But
I've never seen it. I just know he eats Reese's. He wears a little hood, and then his bike can fly.
But it's not. They weren't invading. They weren't invading. They weren't invading. E.T.'s not an invasion movie, and honestly, Men in Black is not an invasion.
Okay, then Invincible's not an invasion movie or invasion show.
I kind of think Invincible is, but I also think Men in Black is.
Also, I'm not caught up on it.
No, because I don't think they didn't actually like.
Wait. Sorry, continue.
Aliens coming to Earth and aliens invading are not the same thing. There were now aliens on Earth, but in Men in Black, they were there like the Earth was like a neutral place for aliens to go. So they weren't like invading the Earth; they were allowed to come.
Which you by a select few people, and I think you think because they didn't conquer the Earth.
No, I'm not saying they didn't conquer. I'm saying they were permitted to be there.
That is invasive, though. To enter someone's home, they were given permission by like 5 people.
By the government.
By a small section who most people in the government didn't even know that Men in Black existed.
This is kind of the problem we also see in 3-Body Problem, people making decisions for us. But with that being said,
all right. Well,
we've made our choices. Does everyone want to run through their lists real quick before we
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
Why don't we start?
We'll
with
go in
you,
order
Penny?
of the.
We'll start with me. All right. So my choices, I have Avengers Endgame, Independence Day, A Quiet Place, Invincible, and Dragon Ball Z.
Mine was.
Keep your chuckles to yourself.
Infinity War, Transformers, Men in Black, Predator, and Man of Steel.
I just forgot my list. Okay, so mine was Avengers, Space Jam, Nope, Lilo and Stitch, and E.T.
All right.
So reflective.
And we will post to socials, and we will let the audience decide who has the best list, who has the best team.
Vote for me,
and let us know. So that is the end of our banter segment for today.
Yay! And that's also just the end of the show, right?
Yep. Facts.
Thanks for listening to Real Relatives. We hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you did, please take a moment to leave a review, rate us, subscribe, and share our podcast with your people. We're available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, and whatever platform you enjoy listening to podcasts on. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter, or X, at Real Relatives. That's REEL, Relatives, to stay updated on new episodes, vote on polls, because, side note, Gene loves a good IG story poll, and just share your thoughts with us. We really mean it when we say we want to hear from you. Make sure to tune in again in 2 weeks for more banter on TV and movies with the Relatives. Until then, take care and happy watching.